going to follow up on that, but I do want to move on to what is happening with regard to controversy after the former president visited Arlington National Cemetery this week. His campaign took photos and video of him in Section 60, where veterans of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan are buried, used it in a campaign video. The Army also says that Trump staffers abruptly pushed aside a cemetery official who tried to enforce Arlington's rules prohibiting political activities. I know you were with Trump at least earlier in that day at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Did you witness the altercation at Section 60?
I was there from the beginning with the laying of the wreaths with the family members, the Gold Star family members, and some of the survivors of that terrorist attack in that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. I was with them at Section 60, and what I saw was a very grave and somber remembrance and honoring of those lives that were lost. And I saw President Trump spending time at the invitation of these Gold Star families with them. He was there for a few hours. I did not see or hear about any kind of altercation until something came out in the news later on. The families were there grieving alongside President Trump, and it was a very special moment to really remember their names, remember their memories, and understand the true cost of war and the consequences of the decisions that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden made in the execution of that withdrawal.
Yeah, and it is very clear that the former president was invited in his personal.
You see how they don't address Afghanistan at all? Like they just won't address how tragic that was. They just want to go straight to Trump. It goes straight to Trump.
Capacity, as you said, by a family of one of the service members who was killed about 2 years ago during the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. 3 years ago to the day on August 26th.
Yes, 3 years ago. The question is about the federal law and Arlington's rules that prohibit partisan or political activities at national cemeteries. And the military and also other members of other families who are buried right near there are upset about the campaign filming it and posting the video online. Do you believe that was appropriate?
You know, I checked with the campaign on this question, and they have exchanges with the officials at Arlington Cemetery. They were approved to bring a camera there to document this historic and momentous day that should not be forgotten by any American.
Right.
And to have a former president there and joining these Gold Star families, I know President Trump wanted to share that with others, especially given the fact that
Where was Kamala Harris at? Y'all ain't gonna ask that question at all, huh?
President Biden and Harris, I heard, were invited by some of these family members. They not only didn't come, they didn't even respond to that invitation. And now to have Kamala Harris put this statement out yesterday saying that she stands with these families, she stands with the military and with veterans, you only have to look at the response that came from the Gold Star families of these 13 service members of how offended they were by that statement, given she has not made any effort, not on that third anniversary or any other time, to call them directly to offer her condolences and even apologies for their decisions that led to the loss of their loved ones.
Do you think that the campaign will release that communication that you're talking about? Because the Army is saying very clearly that they broke the rules because it was clearly put out online.
Broke the rules instead of understanding that he's there to honor the people. See, Trump is the person that's been talking about Afghanistan, right? Biden and Harris have not talked about Afghanistan. They have literally just forgotten about it. And this is why you don't hear about it at all from their campaign. They don't apologize for it. I think she just made a tweet at Trump. I think Ortis or Sue, y'all might be able to probably refresh me much better. Didn't she just create a tweet or something like a hate tweet towards Trump about this particular incident? Let me play the rest.
Pictures, video meant as a part of his campaign.
I thought they already had. I was informed that they had come to an agreement. They could bring a camera there. And as far as I know, and the public statements I've seen from the Army, is that the matter is closed.
I think the matter is closed about the altercation, alleged altercation, which you didn't see, but I'm not sure it's closed with the idea that they seem to have broken the rules and perhaps even federal law.
Why did you have this pushback for Kamala Harris for that CNN interview? I swear, bro. But you want to come at anybody that rocks with Trump, you just get real nasty with them. So you want to keep talking about this altercation. So now Tulsi Gabbard says, I don't know of an altercation. I was there, right? And she even said, hey, this is what the event consisted of. There was a wreath ceremony, this and that. Didn't see any altercation. And I talked to the Trump campaign staff. There was no problem with us bringing cameras. This particular issue is that they're trying to bring up this altercation so that they can call Trump a monster, and they don't have anything on it. They don't have anything on it. They're just going to go off hearsay and say, "Oh, this is a story we can do," and she can't even stick the story to the Trump campaign. So they're trying. Dana Bash is trying her best to try to stick a story to Trump, and Tulsi Gabbard is too sharp of a person when it comes to her communication to say, "This is exactly what I mean. No gray area." There was no altercation that I seen. Spoke to the Trump campaign. There was no problem with us bringing cameras. In fact, where was Kamala Harris? She was invited. But Dana Bash is not going to go there. She's not going to go to, you know what, we need to reach out to her and figure out why she didn't come. No, she wants to drill somebody who rocks with Trump better than what she did in that CNN interview, right? What, did Kamala Harris buy you some freaking food at that place that you guys met at and made you feel all good inside so you didn't feel like you needed to press her on questions? It's just stupid.
By putting out the campaign video. I want to ask you about...
I just like to say one last thing on this, because I think it's important, and I've seen a lot of the headlines and the stories and the concerns that people are raising about this. But to me, as a soldier and as someone who has been deployed to different war zones in the world, and I have friends who are buried there at Section 60, what is more outrageous to me is that there wasn't universal coverage of the momentous day of the 3rd anniversary of the loss of these 13 Gold Star families, right, and the outrage that they feel that their loved ones are not getting the kind of coverage and memory that their great sacrifice deserves. That is what everyone should be outraged about.
Well, yeah, we have covered the horrible events 3 years ago, and have done so several times.
3 years ago.
Over and over again. So I appreciate you also talking about their memories, because it is important. Before you go, you said in an interview this week that you were interested in serving in a Trump administration, potentially as Secretary of State, maybe Secretary of Defense. Have you discussed that with Donald Trump directly?
Just say no.
No, I haven't. You know, it's important for us right now to point out the difference between Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump, what kind of president and commander-in-chief they would be. And really the leading concern that I have is about this, about the contrast between their positions and their records, and the fact that as we sit here today, President Biden and Kamala Harris have us embroiled in wars in 3 different regions of the world, have us closer to the brink of World War III and nuclear war now than ever before, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. And this should be of concern not just to Republicans and Democrats, it should be a concern to all Americans, because what's at question is our ability to have a future and to live in a free society where we can be peaceful and prosperous. It's as personal for me as it should be personal for all Americans, because it is our future that's on the line here in this decision that we as voters have to make about who we want our commander-in-chief to be.
And it's not going to be Kamala Harris. Listen, we have wars going on, bro. We have wars literally happening right now that we are like basically indirectly in, but directly in. We are giving money to people. They just said it. There's like 3 wars that we're in right now, man. And we don't have any room for anything else to happen. One thing that happens to, one of these wars, we are hit. We are hit. And we don't want to talk about this. See, this is the thing that really bothers me about all of this presidential race. We're trying to avoid talking about, well, not we. The mainstream media is trying to avoid from talking about these wars. These wars are important because this is what, our money's going to, and this can also cause a potential World War III situation. But we want to keep talking about Donald Trump. We want to talk about Trump all day long, instead of understanding that when he was in office,
let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said, let him cook.
When Donald Trump was in office, we did not have any wars. None. We had 0 wars going on. There was peace. And everybody on the media kept saying, he's a what do they say, like some type of war hungry leader, and he's going to cause a war and all this type of stuff, right? Not one war under his administration. Nothing. And the moment that he gets out of office, coincidence, we're somehow in 3 different wars all of a sudden. All of a sudden, we're in 3 different wars for no reason. And then the people that are voting are not thinking about that. This is costing billions of dollars. We're just giving away, and it can eventually come to us to where we're going to have friggin' military having to go out there and help them. And all of a sudden, we're in the middle of a war that started under Harris and Biden, and because you guys didn't want to elect Donald Trump because you're so afraid of him that you're willing to have this country go to shit.
Audio Jungle.
It's not worth it. Donald Trump, you don't have to love. You don't even gotta like him. Listen, you can turn off your TV. You don't have to subscribe to his Twitter page, but just understand if he's the right person for you, just vote for him and leave all the media stuff alone. But we have a problem. So many problems in the United States. We haven't even touched on the migrant issue. We ain't touching on nothing else. Just the wars alone should scare you enough to say, well, why are we in so many wars under this administration? Don't you think somebody's getting paid here? But Trump was supposed to be the guy where all the wars were supposed to happen up under. All of them. And one thing that Trump can say confidently, and the media cannot go back on it, is there were no wars under Trump. That's a fact.
Sensational.
It's a fact. No wars under Trump. None. We got wars all up under freaking Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Let me read y'all comments because that was the end of my show, man. So let me read y'all comments. I appreciate all y'all feedback, by the way, as well. Let me go right here. So Alta says, Kamala put out, "Let me be clear, the former president disrespected sacred ground, all for the sake of political stunt. This is nothing new for Donald Trump." Yeah, I think I've seen that. But why tweet it out or put it out saying that it's disrespectful when you were invited and you didn't come, and you haven't even said why you didn't go? You didn't say why you didn't go. But you want to come at your political opponent because he did something that is admirable, right? And so because that, you know what? Kamala Harris is nowhere to be found. Y'all know that? I just thought about that. So she was invited to Arlington, Texas. She was invited to the Black Journalist event, also with Donald Trump supposed to be there. She didn't show up. She don't show up for stuff. She ain't showing up for nothing. I just thought about that. But yeah, it's not disrespectful. And then think about it. It's a political atmosphere right now because the whole entire year is an election year, right? So everyone's going to be using something for political purpose. But the one thing I can say about Trump is that he has mentioned Afghanistan multiple times when the left has not. He has mentioned how bad of a disaster it was and what it meant for our country and how embarrassing it was. He's the one that brings it up and actually talks about it. But Alta says, it's sad that Dems think it's a partisan move to show up and support your people. Yeah. This is how they think. Trump is their big bad wolf, man. It's insane. Sue, I typed it in. The results said, it looks like the results below are changing quickly. What does that even mean? Sue responds back. She says, and that probably means they are trying to suppress the video. Probably. Sometimes you can't find certain things online. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous. Did you see the video of the families that put up the response to this storyline? Kind of. There was a guy, he was like on a webcam. He said something. I didn't get the video. If you got it, please send it to me. My information should be in below, right? My Instagram is there, or you can send me an email with that clip. Please, y'all, send me clips, man. Like, I love being able to react to stuff. but I've seen a little bit of it, and they were saying that they invited him there. They weren't mad about it. So I seen a little bit of it. I didn't deep dive into it, but and again, if he was invited there, okay, he's invited. Like my whole thing is, even if, right, let's just say, right, order says for what? Liberal media has more outlets. Why would their own side suppress it? Even if it's a media thing, right? Like, let's just say I show up to your event. I'm there for you. I'm there to say yes, and then some cameras come. I mean, I don't know. I get it, but I guess it's probably rules to it when with that. But Trump has always showed support and love for the military. I cannot say the same for the Biden-Harris campaign. I just can't. They care more about abortion. They care more about identity politics. They care more about all these other things than really the military. That's what they show. That's what they portray. Trump really shows that, hey, I love America. I love the military. Everything about it. And, but I don't see anything wrong with what he did. I heard about the news last week, and I just thought, okay, it's just, him doing another event, and I seen that they were trying to make something out of this story earlier in the week, CNN. And I think when they got this news of this fake altercation, they started to speed this up. But they can't stick the story to anything. So they're starting to look stupid. But again, any Trump story that's bad, they're going to run it. They're going to run it. But this particular story makes them look stupid. I don't know. I go back to what Sue said, and she said that we got to get him in there in November. She said we got to get him in there. So I'm going to go ahead and end this show off because we are at an hour and 36 minutes, hitting 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time over here. I just had to put in some work. I'm going to go ahead and put these videos out.